Right, let's now get into the newspaper review brought to us by Syntex Tank, a stronger, a tough, and Access Bank. Access Bank, more than banking.
The Daily Graphic is reporting this morning in 2024 elections, Bawumia Mahama signed Peace Pact. 11 other candidates concur. And that's Emmanuel Ebohoxen's report. And the other one, Election Security Task Force engages UTAC. And electricity challenges fixed. Lights on across the country. This is Energy Minister speaking there. I heard the president saying the same thing too. Okay, well, they give themselves some leeway that or escape route. If anything happens, they say, "Oh, it's a localized problem." So, but we have experienced power problems in this country long enough to be able to understand when something is more routine than localized stuff. And we are not uneducated people to be told stories consistently, because that's how we have dealt with this matter throughout. Anyway, but at least the word that has been accepted here is challenges.
Look,
this government never, throughout the 8 years of its stay, agreed to use, associate with, or be part of any conversation that has doomsday in it. Remember?
Yeah,
so is it that doomsday, or we are fixing it, or we are still fixing challenges
in
the year 2024?
Hold on, Raymond.
After 8 years.
Raymond, so what was the situation?
Yeah.
The lights were going off.
Yeah.
Without notice.
True.
And there was admission. You see, sometimes admission even by the MD of the Electricity Company of Ghana. He tells you that there is a shortfall. However, because it varies and is not consistent, he cannot give you a load shedding timetable. That does not mean there is no load shedding.
True.
And what we have termed doomsday, simply load shedding.
That's true.
So you can call it whichever way you want. The truth is, that is the experience of the consumer. And so government may want to, because in opposition you talked about these things, government may want to say, oh, we didn't do this. But for me, the most important thing is that I feel it, and that's how I feel it. Look, whenever your light,
my lights went off yesterday.
Where you are.
Localized.
At what time?
This in the evening when the game was ongoing, the Manchester United game.
See,
sometimes when in the first half,
when my light goes off, I make calls to ECG to find out what is happening. When it is when the light goes off around 6 p.m., I don't even call, because I know.
It's in tandem with policy.
Exactly. Yes. I know that. I know that this is load shedding. Anyway.
Well, so they say it's been fixed and that the lights are on across the country. Perhaps your area, they didn't get the memo to put it on. So hopefully by this morning, everything will be...
Oh, it came back.
Yes.
Dawn or something?
Yes. Yeah. So this
was
story
a long time.
Yeah.
Yes, this story was for this morning. So the expectation perhaps was that it will come back and you have power this morning. So to all those across the country, the young energy minister, very brilliant law lecturer, has promised you that finally this is the war to end all wars, and this war is your power supply has finally been stabilized. They say the problem was largely due to suspension of power delivery services by Sunin Asogli Power Plant for commercial reasons, a problem that has been amicably dealt with. Have they paid them?
Oh, but if you listen to News File on Saturday, even with the acting managing director of the Electricity Company of Ghana's contribution to that conversation, it's beyond Sunin Asogli.
Oh, no, there's also
IPPs are old, isn't it?
No, they say the situation was further exacerbated by the reduced capacity of car passing for 450 to 50 megawatts because of a fault on the pressure control. The owing of any IPP is not mentioned here. Again, the situation was aggravated by maintenance work being carried out by the Amandi Power Plant, which started on November 15 this year, and the plant was expected to be back in full operation December 7.
So again, my understanding, and this is all from Newsfile last Saturday, is that sometimes because
Saturday is far, this is
the people involved, as in the power producers, cannot tell you that if you don't pay us, we won't produce. They will tell you just being very diplomatic about it and say that we're doing maintenance, but that's equal to because you haven't paid us, we're not producing.
So in this country called Ghana, we had an Energy Sector Levy Act, which was to be used to offset these. Then we decided to actually go for a bond so we can pay. Unfortunately, we went for that bond and did not pay energy sector debts. Used it for something else. And here we find ourselves today. The very problem that we were supposed to have solved, we are still faced with a problem. I just don't get it. I mean, I just don't get that we put people in authority who are supposed to solve problems. They don't solve the problems. They always explain the problems to us. If it's all about explaining problems, we can all explain problems.
Because we realized there was a money problem, then we raised a tax for it.
Yes.
Then we thought that was fixing the problem and making sure we don't have a conversation on it again.
And we felt that, because, I mean, that the accruals may not be as much as it is, why don't we go for a bond? We can just pay it, then we use,
They can clear them
we can clear them. Now we went for the bond, we didn't pay all the
And every time we are having conversations with the people who are producing the power.
Why?
Every time, it's almost as if they are the people who do not like the country and they really are sabotaging the state. But you just have to pay them. What's
now,
the big deal with that?
We know that it's even difficult for them to come up with money for their own operations.
And all of these conversations, you ask yourself, why? What happened to the money?
Why is it that everything the state of Ghana or a state agency does would sometimes cost twice more than the market value?
Well,
the Daily Guide newspaper, Baumia to win polls with 50.2%. That's an IPG research. Traders.
Which one's IPG?
I'm not sure. Let's see.
Some progressive group, I think.
Okay, so that's Institute of Progressive Governance.
I mean, this is the first time hearing though.
Yeah, I was also going to say so.
Yeah.
Anyway,
they have done a very extensive work, I suppose.
I haven't read the entire story.
No, that's not what I'm saying. I'm saying
I haven't gone through the research.
You've not seen their methodology too.
Look, whatever happens.
So we are just 1 week away.
By the 9th or 10th of December, we will know.
No, but in all fairness, the projections of institutions of research can come to pass or not. They are not prophecies.
No.
Even in the Republic of Ghana, some prophecies about elections don't come to pass.
And some prophets have said that if all their prophecies came true, it would mean they are not human.
So, listen, this one that you have said, you are tempting me to say, no, okay, I'll stay the course. The course is that it's possible for you to project and you get it wrong. It happens in the US, the institutions are not collapsed. It happens elsewhere. The only thing that's required is that you go through the established systems for polling. Not any, I sit in my bedroom, write something and put it out there. That's the only expectation we have of you.
So
I hope you get my point. Yeah, so it's not like you have to do
my very good friend Kujo Akpabi.
Okay.
Kujo Akpabi, who is a chartered accountant based in the US, and it was part of the Make America Great Again MAGA, Donald Trump's
the Trump team.
He says, "Good morning." He sent me this message. He said I should share it with Ghanaians on his behalf. He says, "Please send this message to Ghanaians on my behalf. Please don't believe any poll, either local or international. The real poll is at the ballot box. Ghanaians must rise up in their millions, go to the voting centers in their numbers, and cast their ballots as citizens." The United States did same a few weeks ago. So he says the only poll you can believe is the election results.
Yeah, but we are not disputing that. We're saying ahead of that, there are projections and intellectual engagements around that.
Projections.
It should be nice the way we accept Afrobarometer reports. The way we accept, it should be sensible for us to do so. Even though they are difficult.
We've had this conversation before about trusting the Ghanaian when it comes to surveys, because people can actually tell you a lot of things. I would do this, I would do that. I mean, you say, okay, so I placed I did a phone poll. That person even called me and I said, this, that. Look, the Ghanaian is such that sometimes he will tell you what you want to hear also.
If they even don't trust the institution doing the poll, so they think that you are an arm of government or something. So let me just please them. That is a problem with our system, and that's one of the biases and difficulties that all polls would have. Do you account for those ones too? My problem is that we seem to suggest if you say Akufo-Addo, Baumia will win by 50% and he doesn't win by 50%, it means that you did a poor work.
Oh, no, there's a margin of error.
Yes, it might not necessarily mean that. And we should not throw out all of the polling institutions merely because of that. And I think beneficence suffered a lot of that. People tend to attack him sometimes needlessly, and when they have not reviewed the methodology. I have not reviewed this methodology before. I have not seen him deploy, and I've not seen his back end, if you want me to call it that way.
So this is based on.
So I'm saying it is sometimes unfair to merely when you have not also seen that to just say that what he says is wrong or what he says is done that.
Yeah.
I mean clearly.
Yeah, but the real poll will be on 7th December.
Yes, that is the election itself.
Yes, so
Yeah.
it's only 8 days away. I mean, by the evenings, we'll know whether.
But you have been doing some polling on your own.
Oh, he
Try
says
some
we
of
will know the nights before the election.
He will tell us who will
on
win.
Friday, next week, Friday.
A promise is a promise.
I didn't say
So
that.
this is on the 6th.
Yeah.
Of December.
I only said that we would tell you the regions that would decide elections. I didn't, Mama, I didn't say I was going to tell you who was going to win elections.
But is that what I said? That's not what I have said
The
on the
question
show.
Raymond asked.
But is Raymond filling in the gaps?
He is asking a question about I do polls on my own. So
Can you
so
believe-
if you respond
can you
that
believe
if
our
you
reader?
respond that way, it means you're only saying that I'm going to tell you who's going to.
Yeah, that is
That's not something I don't tell who I don't predict elections like that.
yeah.
But if it's going to tell
no,
us,
as an established
if it's
election
going to tell us-
mathematician.
if it's going to tell us the regions that would
Oh, isn't
decide,
also
See,
everyone is very happy.
it will give us. I think it will give us a good idea.
when you
Sorry, what are you saying?
If he's going to tell us the regions that would decide the votes.
Yes.
when you have
win.
disinformation,
Yeah.
people sit back and edit.
yeah. Then no, this year we are expecting that. We know what you have done so far, but we are expecting that the peace part will influence their lives, and they'll make them not do those things during the election, because it's a bit. See, again, I don't take for granted that some of us, some of the people in this republic are so invested in this election. They think whoever wins or loses has everything to do with their future, which rarely is not true, because the evidence has been that people do not really change a lot except for the people around them. That's the evidence.
Yeah, that's
So yes, I mean, so no matter how invested you are in this election, we should not let it get. We should not be having a conversation that we are going to tell adults behave, okay?
Yeah.
This is an electioneering period. Behave, that you are human beings, and that it's not fair that you kill people. It's not fair that you end up doing what's wrong. Those are conversations that we should only, talk to kids about.
Yeah.
And I insist that we make it look like a pageant. We make it look like we line up people. We make it look like, listen, if we don't go and sign the peace pact, you're not going to be peaceful. When you are begging to be a leader in this country, really? What standard are you using? Why? Anybody who makes violence an option even on the table, it's not qualified to be. Why? You just want to serve. The employee is threatening the employer that, hey, there will be chaos if this or that does not happen. But why? If we decide that we don't even want to do elections again, what will happen in this country? After we have done this so-called experimentation with this thing for God knows how long, and the results what we see: domestic debt exchange, resultant inflation, and other nonsensical things that we are suffering today. When your colleagues, some of them, they are not even doing elections, and yes, they are delivering on their own results. Others are equally doing elections. And for example, I asked somebody this question last week. Please, do you know the electoral commissioner conducted the elections in the United Kingdom?
No.
He used to head the statistical service. He moved to the what they call it. You have to go and look for the person. We have made elections and its related engagements the only sign of our democracy and the most important dividends, ensuring actual development. We throw it into the gutter. Then every 4 years we are all sitting on tenterhoods because some people are getting jobs.
And
Then we end up suffering at the end of the day too.
You end up suffering under development. And
Yes.
4 years close to elections, they start doing things.